I never thought I would see the day where Charlie Cox officially licensed Marvel merchandise was something that I could buy. But times are changing and it's officially happening. Let's talk about why this is such a huge deal. For years now, fans have been begging for Daredevil merchandise, for Marvel Netflix merchandise, and while we've gotten only a few things like a few action figures and a couple things at Comic-Cons, it's been very scarce, almost non-existent. Now of course, this was due to licensing issues, this was due to the war between Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment, and how they were dealing with these characters. Marvel Entertainment selling off rights and locking down these characters to Netflix exclusively so they could keep them actively away from the MCU. This all contributed to Marvel Studios and Disney not wanting to produce much merchandise at all for these characters because they would then actually owe money to Netflix for characters that they themselves actually owned but lent out. Look, Marvel Entertainment screwed everything up. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's kind of like the Supergirl deal on CBS. How WB had to pay WB to license Supergirl out to CBS, and they were literally, like, taking money from themselves and going into red. Look, they were dumb. Either way, though, it was a problem. Well, here's our first piece of official Marvel Studios merchandise based on Daredevil. This is going to be a shirt. It's going to be socks. It's going to be featured on multiple things going forward. And this is just the start. This right here is officially our look into the new wave of Marvel Studios being able to actually promote these characters that they finally own themselves. Now, some people will be confused what I'm talking about. Marvel Entertainment was not Marvel Studios. They were essentially two different entities under Disney, each one having to call their own shots, which is why sometimes you saw such a disconnect between everything happening. And sometimes they would work together for the greater good, but again, Netflix was a big deal in this sort of weird split that the two had. And it's one of these things where Marvel Studios was on the West Coast, Marvel Entertainment on the East Coast, and they were able to do these things in a different type of way when even Marvel Comics was there. This right here is really significant because it now means they can retroactively start producing products on some of the other things that are out there. Like, for example, I have the hot toy for Daredevil and Punisher, based on the Netflix series. This time, they could relicense those actively and not have them be limited and actually produce them in a timely manner and not have to worry about the problems. Again, there would be some issues with what the characters look like, but in due time, that's all going to be taken care of. And the big deal here is they can finally start to have these characters readily available on various things. So you'll actually be able to find Charlie Cox branded Daredevil merchandise within the next couple years. And it won't be something you have to go to dubious sources to get your hands on, which, trust me, I have, and sometimes the quality is just not there.